Hello everyone, welcome to La Excellence Science Academy. On June 25th, 2025, our Vice President, while criticizing the imposition of national emergency in 1975, he also criticized the inclusion of the two words, particularly secular and socialist, into the preamble of the Indian Constitution. He stated that inclusion of these particular words into the preamble is disrespect to the Sanatan. While setting aside the religious and political controversies surrounding it, we'll purely discuss very important aspects of the inclusion of the secular and socialist. So, let us begin. What is secularism? Mainly, the secularism is nothing but in India we have a different meaning compared to Western ideology. The secular, the literal meaning of secular is nothing but separate. Okay, but separation of what? In political ideology, the secularism nothing but separation of state from religion. Separation of state from religion. This is the Western political ideology. But why the secularism in political ideology has originated? The separation of the state from the religion, the idea is originated during Renaissance period. Why Renaissance period? At that time, religion, particularly the Pope, the Church, was so much powerful, it tends to control the administration also. Even these people try to control the king. Because of this, the secularism concept originated to try to separate the state and religion. But in India, we have a different meaning of secularism. In India, the secularism as defined by Supreme Court is republic. Secularism is nothing but republic which promotes and respects all religion equally. Means equal respects of all religion, we can say. But what is socialist? Socialist is nothing but where the state or the government controls the production, distribution, and also the ownership of the resources. Means how resources are produced, consumed, and also owned. These things are controlled by the state. It is a socialist in a general sense, in Western ideology. But in the Indian sense, Supreme Court defined socialist. Supreme Court defined the word socialist in a different way. Supreme Court said that socialist in Indian terms mainly where state tends to create a welfare state, the first one, and state should provide equal opportunities. This is right, and also the state should eliminate all types of exploitation. Eliminate all types of exploitation. What kind of exploitation? It may be a political one, it may be an economic one, or it may be a social one. When these three conditions are met, this is called socialist in Indian perspective. Supreme Court has defined the socialist. But how did these words are included into the preamble? Right. So in 1976, by amending the constitution for 42nd time, then Indira Gandhi led government included the words secular and socialist into the preamble along with the other word called integrity. So these three words are included into the preamble in 1976. On June 25th of 1975, Indira Gandhi led government also imposed national emergency. So while the emergency was imposed, the government amended the constitution and also included socialist, secular and integrity into the preamble. But many of the political thinkers in India and politicians, even people also started to criticize inclusion of particular words, socialist and secular. But Supreme Court delivered judgments with respect to the inclusion of the socialist and secular in a different way. So we will look at the Supreme Court's judgment with respect to secular and socialist. Even before the inclusion of the socialist and secular words, in Keshwanand Bharati case of 1973, Supreme Court had said that preamble is part of constitution. And also it said that secular, the word secularism is a basic structure, part of basic structure. In this case only, in Keshwanand Bharati case, Supreme Court come up with the idea of basic structure. And in this case only, Supreme Court had said that secularism is part of the basic structure. Again in S.R. Bommai case in 1994, Supreme Court reiterated the earlier judgment and also said that secularism is basic, part of the basic structure. These are the earlier judgments and old judgments. Recently in 2024, Supreme Court also gave verdict with respect to, particularly with respect to inclusion of secular and socialism into the preamble. 3 members, especially Balram Singh, Subramaniam Swamy and Ashwini Kumar Upadhyay. 3 members were questioned the inclusion of the socialist and secular words into the preamble individually. But Supreme Court merged all these cases and gave single verdict. In this case only, in 2024, Supreme Court defined what is secular, what is socialist, and also said that the words socialist and secular will remain in the preamble. There is no need to remove these words from the preamble. And also said that the government or the parliament has every right to amend the constitution and include any words if it fits according to the basic structure of the constitution. These are the very basic controversies with respect to why the socialist and secular words were included during the national emergency. And also Supreme Court clearly stated that the secularism and socialist are very basic to the Indian constitution and they will remain so in the preamble of the constitution. So thank you so much.